Gajendra Moksha. Once upon a time, there was a king. And the king became cursed to become an elephant. And he became an elephant, but a king of elephants. And while being king of elephants, he had many she-elephants. And one fine day, while bathing in a lake, crocodile grabbed a hold of his leg. And it was painful. And he started struggling to become free from the crocodile. It went for 100 years, 100 celestial years, which is a long time. But he was becoming, the explanation given is because the crocodile was in his natural habitat and the elephant was not. He's used to being on land. So the crocodile wasn't becoming weaker, but he was becoming weaker. And got to a point where he realized finished. And when that stage came, when he recognized finished, he started remembering, Super Soul prompted, in that moment of desperation. Desperation is sometimes a big advantage. In that moment of desperation, he thought of Vishnu, because in his previous life as a king, he was a Vishnu Bhakta. And Vishnu Bhakta shouldn't make offenses because there's consequences for offenses, but his was what it was. So he began remembering Vishnu, and with intensity, he began offering prayers to Vishnu. So that's where we're reading Gajendra's prayers to Vishnu. Gaja, Indra, the king of Gajas, the king of elephants. And this is found in Canto 8. It's in a section of Canto 8 that's discussing manus and then prominent things that happened during each of the 14 manus. So this is the king of, we're going to read verse number 2, 832. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Shri Gajendra Uvacha.
Shri Gajendra Uvacha.
Om Namo Bhagavate Tasmai.
Om Namo
Yatta etachidātmakam Parushayadi Bijaya Parishadhyadi Dhimahi Om Namo Bhagavate Tasmai etachidātmakam Purushadhyadi Bijaya Parishadhyadi Bhimati The king of elephants, Gajendra, said, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Person, Vasudeva, parentheses, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Because of him, the material body acts due to the presence of spirit, and he is therefore the root cause of every one. He is worshipable for such exalted persons as Brahma and Shiva. And he has entered the heart of every living being let me meditate on him. Just as we're reading and discussing, what are we going to do if we're in a dire situation that death is imminent? We're going to offer prayers like this. He's a special person. He's a great devotee. That is just, he's attached. He has taken shelter and he's attached, and he, even in the body of an elephant, he now has this remembrance. So that's the kind of Vaishnava he was before he became an elephant. So that Vaishnava consciousness has been restored. Report by Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, the words "a touch chidatmakam" are very important. The material body certainly consists only of material elements, but when one awakens to Krishna conscious understanding, the body is no longer material, but spiritual. The material body is meant for sense enjoyment, whereas the spiritual body engages in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Therefore, a devotee who engages in the service of the Supreme Lord and who constantly thinks of him should never be considered to have a material body. It is therefore enjoined, Guru Shu Nara Matihi. Guru Shu Nara Matihi. One should stop thinking of a spiritual master as an ordinary human being with a material body. Acharya Vishnu Shilati. Everyone should know that the deity in the temple is made of stone, but to think that the deity is merely stone is an offense. Similarly, to think that the body of the spiritual master consists of material ingredients is offensive. Atheists think that the devotees foolishly worship a stone statue of God and an ordinary man as the guru. The fact is, however, that by the grace of Krishna's omnipotence, the so-called stone statue of the deity is directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the body of the spiritual master is directly spiritual. A pure devotee who is engaged in unalloyed devotional service should be understood to be situated on the transcendental platform. Sagvanan samati chaitan brahmo bhuyaya kalpate. Let us therefore offer our obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by whose mercy so-called material things also become spiritual when they are engaged in spiritual activities. Activity. Paragraph. Omkara, or pranava, is the symbolic sound representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om tat sad iti nidesho brahmanas trivita smritaha. 3 words of Om Tat Sat immediately invoke the Supreme Person. Therefore, Krishna says that he is Omkar in all Vedic mantras, Pranava Sarva Vedeshu. The Vedic mantras are pronounced beginning with Omkar and indicate immediately the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam, for example, begins with the words Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. There is no difference between the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudev, and Omkar, or Pranava. We should be careful to understand that Omkar does not indicate anything nirakar or formless. Indeed, this verse immediately says Om Namo Bhagavate. Bhagavan is a person. Thus, Omkar is the representation of the Supreme Person. Omkar is not meant to be impersonal. as the Mayavadi philosophers consider it to be. This is distinctly expressed here by the word Purushaya, the supreme truth addressed by Omkara is Purusha, the supreme person. He is not impersonal. Unless he is person, how can he control the great stalwart controllers of this universe? Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma, and Lord Shiva are the supreme controllers of this universe, but Lord Vishnu is offered obeisances even by Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Therefore, this verse uses the word Parishaya, which indicates that the Supreme Personality Godhead is worshipped by exalted demigods. Purushaya means Parameshvara. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are Ishwaras, great controllers, but Lord Vishnu is Parameshvara, the supreme controller. There are many verses in many places, different places in the Bhagavatam, stating that spiritual perfection can be attained simply by hearing the glories of the personality of Godhead. One can become fully spiritually awakened simply by that. So he, Gajendra, in his previous life as Indradumna, he was doing that. So his consciousness was in a very special place. And his consciousness is in that same very special place again. Because created by the circumstance or facilitated by the circumstance, prompted by the circumstance. He had no other shelter. He tried this and that. He had his own strength. Unsuccessful. And not only unsuccessful, but becoming weaker, and the crocodile not becoming weaker. 100 celestial years, that's a long time. A celestial day on the Earth planet, it's 1 month. The daytime on the heavenly planets, that's the waxing of the moon, and the nighttime is the waning of the moon. The waxing and waning of the moon takes 30 days, 1 month. So 1 day, 1 month. And it's not just 1 day and 1 month, it's 100 celestial years. It's a long time. Must have gotten hungry and tired. But he was very powerful. And the alligator was also very powerful. Crocodile, whichever the version is. We'll hear at the end, one can hear at the end, the crocodile or alligator was also a demigod that was cursed to take that body. So when his head was chopped, he came out of that crocodile body and manifested his elevated demigod looking body. King Hu is very grateful to be chopped by the personality of Godhead. So this is one of the ways of Leela Krishna's or Vishnu's spiritual potency, his sort of Shakti in the form of the Yogamaya potency orchestrating his pastimes, the internal potency orchestrating his pastimes. So it gives us subject matter to hear, chant, and remember exactly as he is doing, the glories of the Lord. Again, there's multiple places, multiple verses, just by this one thing. Hearing the glories, form, qualities, pastimes, associates of the personality of Godhead. Very powerful. So the direction that Prabhupada takes the purport is the form of the Lord is all spiritual, and similarly, the form of the representative of the Supreme Lord is also by the inconceivable potencies of the Lord made also spiritual. Not spiritual in the sense that it shall remain forever. That's certainly a feature of the Lord, the form of the Lord. It remains forever, but it doesn't remain forever in a visible feature. It may be withdrawn, just as very soon Vishnu is going to descend and then he's going to disappear. So the body of the spiritual master becomes spiritualized, or as good as, like the example, a golden box and a gold-plated box. The form of the body, the covering, the elements that make up the form of the spiritual master, because full dedication to the personality of Godhead, the body becomes spiritual. Another common example is an iron rod put in fire becomes fire. Take it out of the fire and touch it to something inflammable, and it's the iron rod becomes fire. In that sense, spiritual, by the spiritual potency of the Supreme Lord. That means by contact with the form or the activities, etc., of the spiritual master. No, it's easy to say this when thinking of Prabhupada, but it's a principle. This past weekend, many devotees gathered in Boston for the 60th anniversary of Prabhupada's appearance or arrival at the Boston Harbor, and that same event was celebrated many places around the world. So while we were there, we had some discussion about did Prabhupada, when he came to Boston, did he go out and walk around? Because if he went and walked around, then he's sanctifying the places where he's walking. And one devotee found this interview. Apparently, the Leela devotees assisting Sesru Maharaj were interviewing people that had contact with Prabhupada. So the captain of the ship was interviewed. And the conclusion was, sure enough, it certainly looked different. Today it's like, it looks different than like a warehouse kind of neighborhood, run down and kind of dangerous looking. Now it's very wealthy and glass and steel, but Prabhupada sanctified the place just by walking around. And that's the way of something that's in direct connection with the personality of Godhead. Like, paraphernalia. The deity is spiritual, and the paraphernalia used for worshiping the deity is spiritual. Like we make an offering of a lamp and circulate the lamp. Some flowers and circulate the flowers. Because they're spiritual. It's just a flower, just fire. But it's been offered to the Supreme Lord. So even that, something that's that simple, what to speak of the body of a spiritual master that's always engaged in Krishna service. It acts in a spiritual way, spiritualized body. And to think otherwise is, well, it's an offense. It's wrong, but it's an offense. And he's indicating here, if you're Shankara follower or Shankaracharya taught, the reality is only one thing. And that's Brahman. So the body of Krishna and the body of the spiritual master and any body is just a covering of Atma. Not Atma, of Brahman. Such persons are never going to taste bhakti rasa. Mm-hmm. There's a verse, well-known verse, in the Prahlad discussion with his father, indicating there's no possibility. Grahakvatanam, nate vidu swartikatim hi Vishnu. Those persons who are completely like you, my dear father Hiranyakashipu, completely immersed in Griha Vrata, the all in all is the temporary home and the paraphernalia and bank balance and family members, and that's it. Such a person, their access to Krishna Bhakti is blocked. Na te vid, they'll never know. As long as that one tightly holds on. And such a person isn't going to understand then the scripture is spiritual, the deity is spiritual, the paraphernalia of the deity is spiritual, so forth. The body of the spiritual master is spiritualized. They won't be able to understand because they've taken profound shelter in the temporary. That's it. Temporary. That's it. Or the Brahman, Brahma bodies. Brahman is it. That's it. Anything else is not. It's false. The covering of illusions are false. It's false. They'll never taste bhakti rasa. Fortunately, those who are very powerful Vaishnavas, like Rupa Goswami and Jiva Goswami, they were able to transform Madhusudana Saraswati, who was a Mayavadi from Prayag and had come to visit Vrindavan, by meeting them and associating with them and hearing from them. There's some detail, but he turned around and became a Vaishnava and wrote about Krishna Bhakti. He's a very scholarly fellow. A scholarly fellow that is quoted by our acharyas. So it's possible that someone, even a very elevated sannyasi in the Shankara Sampradaya, can become transformed. He did. But the power house that transformed him was two very powerful Vaishnavas. However, that's an exception, and the rule is what's here. You make a fence and you can't understand. You can't do lots of things happen. There's a consequence of the fence. So to think of the deity and that which is in relation to Krishna as material, it's not just an incorrect response, it's offensive. So that's what Prabhupada is focusing on in the purport. The verse is focusing on the glories. I'll read the verse again. The position of Vishnu, he's taking shelter of Vishnu and he's helpless. So the only help that's going to save his existence, save his life, is Vishnu. So it says Vishnu. He's going to make his request at the end, but so that the relationship of Gajendra or the previous Indradumna Maharaj and Vishnu is very clear. Here's the verse. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Person, Vasudeva. Because of him, this material body acts due to the presence of spirit, and he is therefore the root cause of everyone. He is worshipable for such exalted persons as Brahma and Shiva, and he has entered the heart of every living being that we meditate upon him. Dhimahi. Tasmai, unto him. Om Namo Bhagavate Tasmai. In the mantra that begins the Bhagavatam, it's Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Here it's not mentioning him by name. It's Tasmai, unto him. So it's a pronoun. Or, in the proper case, Sanskrit rules require understanding the case. So it's unto him. But he knows who him is. He's describing the position, but it's also the position is occupied by a person, Supreme Person. Okay, let's see if there's some discussion. Gajendra Moksha.
Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think you clarified towards the end that because he wasn't calling by any name, but he was thinking of him as the Lord Vishnu because of his connection, because he was a devotee of Vishnu in his previous life. And in the further prayers also, he wasn't calling any name. So it's just the intention by which he is just praying in that way. And in relation to that, if someone is chanting Omkara, and Prabhupada talks about that Omkara is not different from the Supreme Lord. And but if many people chant Omkara but their intention is not Krishna or Vishnu, it is Brahman. So it's because of their intention
It's understood.
yeah.
Vishnu understands.
Oh,
It's like Brahma Gayatri. There are persons that worship or that chant Brahma Gayatri with different intention, and according to the intention, that's the reciprocation. You're worshiping the sun, you're worshiping Brahman, you're worshiping the Supreme. Same mantra. And then reciprocation comes. According to intention. Therefore, our practice of bhakti, our chanting of mantra, chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, should ideally it's not mechanical. It's a devotional. It's a call and response, and there's a personal relationship with the Supreme that's facilitated, providing that's the consciousness. So how is the proper regard and respect for the mantra? It's not just a behavior.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. So one of the point Prabhupada emphasizes on Lord is spiritual and the representatives are spiritual. So we were hearing Bhagavad and some other canto, but I'm using my intelligence, which is material, to understand the spiritual. So Prabhupada says that it is a materialistic conception, like Brahman or Paramatma, because we are using our intelligence and the mind, which are material, to understand the spiritual, unless we go to the level of soul and the heart. So when I'm hearing Bhagavatam and all, I'm using my intelligence primarily to understand a little bit. So how do I understand that?
I'm going to use the bathroom. My nature's calling. I want to clarify what your question is. In using different language, there's transcendence. And we're encouraged to use our intelligence to understand transcendence. Repeatedly, Prabhupada would say, try to understand. So we try to understand. However, the intelligence that I'm accustomed to is the covering kind. Now, how am I going to use this covering kind to understand that which is transcendental? That's the question. Well, we're conditioned souls, and therefore we're going to use what we have. And that's the covering kind. However, it's similar to this prior question. The intention behind makes a big difference. By speculative method, it's not possible to stretch, to reach transcendence. Not possible. It stays within the covering kind. Therefore, the difference is the intention. And what's that intention that makes the mind or the intelligence that's the covering kind, the spiritual kind, and therefore we can understand. So it's the principle of bhakti, and the principle of bhakti is quite simple, like super simple. Who is to be pleased? If to the degree that Krishna is to be pleased, to try to understand why, and with the intention that Krishna is to be pleased. I want to connect with my intelligence with the Supreme. So the conditioning tendency is to use the material kind of intelligence, but it becomes spiritualized to the degree that bhakti is present. And when bhakti grows and becomes stronger and matures, etc., then the intelligence becomes more fully spiritualized. It's like warmer, red hot, iron rod in the fire kind of thing. So the material covering kind of intelligence can become spiritualized by the bhakti process. But everything in the bhakti process to make it bhakti is what the target. Is it I'm an information gatherer type of person, and I want to know something about everything. So if there's a topic out there that's a nice topic, I want to learn about that. But not for the purpose of connecting, just for the purpose of becoming a mimamsaka, just learn more, and learn more, and learn more. And now I'm honored because here's this fellow or lady that knows a lot. So many zeros. So it's the bhakti principle that spiritualizes the covered. More? Okay.
I have another question.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, you got the microphone.
One of the points in this version that you are emphasizing about Gajendra, that he tried for 100 celestial years on himself. Like
He's strong.
he tried to do something on his own. So finally, he was not able to.
He was becoming weaker.
weak.
Yeah.
So somehow
He saw that the finish is around the corner.
the practicality of it,
Yeah.
due to the conditioning and the work atmosphere, what I deal with every day. It feels like when there is a problem, I want to solve it
On your own
temporarily,
strength.
just it.
Yeah.
And I know the principle. I want to be patient and wait for that intelligence that super soul gives me. But somehow mind becomes very restless to solve that problem immediately. So I don't know, like that conditioning. It's because of lack of bhakti.
It's a matter, where any one of us, at whatever stage we are in our devotional life, look over our shoulder, and it wasn't like where we are today. Where we are today, at some point we'll hopefully look over our shoulder, and it's not where we will be. So it's progressive. Bhakti, maturing, is progressive, provided the purpose of making the genuine connection and it arises in the heart. So just like yesterday, quite ugly. Anyway, an important principle is the wanting to make that connection more vital as I go forward in the moment and as I go forward in time. That again is intention makes the difference, and then by proper sadhana, the intention matures. That there's hope for us. Yeah.
You mentioned that Bhakti Rasa, the Brahmavadis cannot relish Bhakti Rasa. Is surrender is Bhakti Rasa, Maharaj?
No.
Or like, can you explain a little more? Bhakti Rasa?
Sure. Bhakti rasa is happiness that arises from making a personal connection or relationship with Krishna, with the source of everything. That's what bhakti rasa is. So surrender isn't the essence of that happiness. It's a step in the direction of. It's a necessary process to reach, but it's not the essence. The essence is the relationship and the taste that comes in that relationship.
That's something like satisfaction, like.
It's more than satisfaction. Satisfaction is a symptom, but the essence is the taste. Like let's just take the material taste. Like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I'm the taste of water. So by drinking water, one's thirst may become satisfied, but the taste is not. There are different departments, different categories of things. It's the byproduct. It's the consequence of interaction with water. Satisfaction. And then there's a taste, etc. Different foods, different juices, because rasa, can mean juice. One of the meanings is juice. Bhakti rasa. And juice have different flavors.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
Clarification. This is like an ignorant clarification. So the intelligence is given by the Lord.
What?
Intelligence is given by the Lord.
Intelligence.
So for people who are chanting Brahmavadis or like it is like they might be in ignorance, they're not aware of getting a devotee association. Um,
So the super soul gives them intelligence to be my body.
okay, that's
Krishna gives intelligence to a thief to be a thief. Krishna gives intelligence to a mosquito how to drink your blood. Krishna is the intelligence of everyone, of different.
that's what I was trying to perceive, like how that works with Brahma. Are they not getting that mercy, like the same mercy we are getting it, that from spiritual master or getting a devotee association? Is that what the changes everything?
It's what changes everything.
Yeah, difference between, like for example, a Brahmavadi getting an association of a Brahmavadi spiritual master. They walk in a path. They are not having an association of a devotee.
They're not having what?
Association of a devotee. Association of a devotee.
Yeah.
Is that what changes?
I'm not sure what you're saying. Are you clear what he's saying? No.
What I'm saying is, how a devotee differs from the Brahmavadi.
How the devotee differs.
Yeah, basically, is it because of a devotee's association, things changes?
Well, it may not. Supposing my body gets association of devotee and they say my body. There's potential because of that association, but it's not because.
Okay. Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Whenever I hear these prayers, there's so many prayers in Bhagavatam.
Oh yes.
It's very inspiring to hear the first part where they glorify the Supreme Lord, and that comes from their consciousness and awareness of Him. I was just thinking, like at my stage, one thing is, yes, I can memorize these glorifications and pray,
Yeah.
but I also sometimes feel like when I go to the Lord, it's just always asking for something to be fixed or something like that. But I want to glorify, but my consciousness is, I don't know from where I am, how to even a little bit of glorification.
Without making requests, how to offer prayers that aren't making requests.
Or at
Just
least
glorification without, please give me this and that and the other thing in my wish list. That's what your question is?
yes, Maharaj.
It's an elevated stage. The elevated stage is attained when the essence is the relationship, not what you receive in that relationship. Who is at the center? Another way of saying the same thing. Does a child need to say, Mommy, Daddy, it's getting cold, can I have a jacket? Mommy and Daddy have 6 jackets. And, I'm etc. The loving Supreme Father is ready. He has a big warehouse. He can supply anything of any quantity and any variety. We don't have to ask. He knows. So we don't have that really kind of relationship. Some persons don't yet have that, but there's a stage where their exalted prayers include like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Natanam Najanam, etc., or Prahlad, or Dhruva, when offered, please don't tempt me. There's only one thing between you and me, and that's you're the master and I'm the servant. That's it. Now that's a particular kind of relationship with the Supreme, where there isn't want. The sense of A, I'm already feeling full, so I don't have wants. And two, he's my protector. Whatever it is that I need, he'll take care of. I don't have to meditate on it or petition him for it or something. That's a stage of bhakti. Or a type of bhakti, a brand, but unloyal. So if there are some requests, glorify, and request, it's okay. It's not shame on you. It's just, there's a relationship. And according to my position, so I can, but at the same time, I may be making requests and then I look up to those that are beyond asking the request. Now, let's look at a pure devotee. Let's look at our acharyas. They're making requests, but the request is not on their own behalf. Like, these prayers that Prabhupada gave, please give me the strength. Please make my speaking such that people can understand, because they're in mode of ignorance and passion. How will they understand you and your glories? How will they understand? I'm not capable. So please make my speaking sufficient that people can understand. Oh, there's a relationship. It's not that any request is, less than pure. There are requests that can be completely pure. Like the gopis, or the residents of Vrindavan wanting Krishna's association. Loving exchange, intense feelings. They don't have to suppress them because they're asking for something. Who's at the center? That's the question. Okay.
Thank
Yes.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. I was thinking maybe it is related to all the questions. Gajendra was trying so hard to relieve himself from the clutches of the crocodile's mouth, but he couldn't do it. So I was just thinking how when we take the practical steps towards anything comes in the way. So depending on the Lord and versus taking practical steps towards resolving that situation so that we can focus more. What is the fine line?
Well, there's many. It's from our side and from the broadcasting side. What is it you want, or why are you engaging in bhakti anyways? So I don't need the answer. Each of us needs the answer. And if we're introspective, it's going to be a humble answer. Because the reality is, we're pretty small and we're less than pure. So both. So with honesty and integrity, then we look up to those who are our role models or our acharyas or the persons who inspire us the most and associate with them in that way, in a humble mood, in a humble service mood. What can be instrumental for their mood and their purpose. No, we're not used to do it. We're not used to that. We're used to the other. Bhakti, where I'm at the center. Frankly. And the I means body and mind, and I and mind are at the center. And they're strong. conditioned tendency. So then, okay, that's the position. Be honest and acknowledge, and move towards. So it's the principle is by hearing. You hear from scripture and representatives of Krishna that what the stage of pure devotion looks like, what it feels like, and how to enter into it. You strive for the pleasure of Krishna. So that's the cultivation of bhakti, cultivation of sadhana that leads to some special descending mercy. When Krishna sees, or the representative of Krishna sees, he or she really wants me, really want Krishna, and Krishna will give himself to that person. Supposing it's 20%, supposing it's 50%, then Krishna will reciprocate. That's bhakti. It's gradations. And then Shuddha Bhakti. So find Shuddha Bhaktas and those that are living that life and speaking that message, and you don't disdain other persons, but even when you're with other persons and doing other things, your consciousness is going to this one place. Because all these questions, most of these questions are it's the stage of bhakti, and refining the stage of bhakti where I am today to where I would like to be tomorrow. So how do I? What's the process of cultivating Shuddha Bhakti? So that seems to be what the questions are. That's okay. Srila Prabhupada.
Okay.
And I'll be on time tomorrow. No, tomorrow we can do something else. Okay. I'm off.